Air Canada says it'll cover certain transportation expenses. Reimbursement, it says, will be given to those that had their flight canceled between August 15th and the 23rd if the airline was unable to rebook their flight and they made other travel arrangements. And any passengers with Air Canada who had a flight canceled are encouraged to apply for a refund on the airline's website. Just follow the instructions and fill out the form with flight details along with a reason for the refund. The flight attendants' strike grounded more than 1,700 flights over the several days of the strike. Joining me now is Gabor Lukács, advocate and founder of Air Passenger Rights. Gabor, thanks so much for joining us. What is your top advice for travelers right now whose flights have been delayed or canceled, or these travelers who still might be in limbo?
Great to be with you. Passengers are entitled to reimbursement for their expenses. I think that refund is a misnomer. Refund would mean that you just get back your money, what you paid to Air Canada. But in this case, as we heard, passengers incurred far greater expenses getting back to Canada or traveling on the ticket that they purchased with their hard-earned money. So Air Canada has to pay not just for certain travel expenses, but for all travel expenses incurred by a passenger as a result of Air Canada's failure to rebook them as prescribed by the APPR. And that means on one of Air Canada's or partner airline departing within 48 hours on its own network or on the next available flight on any competitor. So those passengers who are currently stranded or were stranded and Air Canada offers them a flight 5 days from now or a week from now are well within their right to purchase an alternate transportation on a competitor airline, even if there's a business class ticket, mind you, and come back to Canada or travel wherever they need to. It's not just coming back, just travel as normal, because it shows that Air Canada is shirking its legal obligation to rebook you in accordance with the APPR. Passengers should also be aware that if they are traveling internationally, and that will include flights to the US, or if they are traveling on a domestic segment of an international itinerary, like you fly from Edmonton to Toronto to London, and then the Edmonton-Toronto segment would be deemed to be international because you're connecting to an international flight, you are covered by the Montreal Convention. And Air Canada has to compensate passengers or reimburse more precisely passengers for expenses they incur on their meals, accommodation, lost wages, and even missed pre-booked activities, events like a hotel destination or a concert, and that they miss or incur as a result of these cancellations. That's under the Montreal Convention. If you were traveling back from Europe to Canada, then you are also covered by the European Union's gold standard, which on top of meals, accommodation, and rebooking also requires the airlines to give you an additional 600 euros or 520 British pounds just for your inconvenience. That's per passenger.
And so, Gabor, if passengers feel Air Canada isn't respecting their rights or fulfilling its obligation, what immediate steps do you suggest that the passengers take?
I recommend passengers to send a letter of demand to Air Canada's Chief Legal Officer. If Air Canada provides a template response, just thank them for acknowledging the receipt of your email and you have done what you had to do. Your email should be just very professional to the point, articulate a clear demand of how much payment you want and why, and give Air Canada 30 days to remit payment. If they don't pay within 30 days, I recommend passengers to take their case to small claims court. It's important that you do not go to the federal regulator, the Canadian Transportation Agency, because they have a huge backlog, 87,000 complaints, and keeps soaring. 2 years until they get to your case. And most importantly, if you go to the CTA, you cannot go to small claims court. In small claims court, you are going to have an impartial judge who's going to look at the facts and the law and render a ruling. Those impartial judges have no axe to grind. They don't have an ongoing relationship with the airlines. And certainly they're not cozy with the airlines, which is a concern of the federal regulator, which was found to have concerns of regulatory capture in 2021 by a parliamentary committee.
Gabor Lukács is an advocate and founder of Air Passenger Rights. Gabor, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.